So after charges, we understood how those charges are going to interact when you take the point charges into consideration, right? Now, when you apply Coulomb's law, right? So if at all you need to define the force between charges, what are the minimum number of charges that you require? Minimum is 2. But the question is, what will be the maximum value? It can be any number of charges. That's what we call it as multiple charges, right? So if I have a system of multiple charges, for instance, something like this, Q1, Q2, Q3, it keeps on going like this, right? When you have something like this. Now, if I need to calculate the force force experienced by Q3 due to Q1 and Q2, what should I do? So one thing I understood is I have 3-point charges, not 2 anymore. So since 3-point charges are there, I can apply the Coulomb's law to the system. But what am I interested in? We are interested in calculating the force experienced by Q3 due to Q1 and Q2. Right? So this Q1 is going to exert the force on this object in which direction? Since I took a system of positive charges. So Q3 will get repelled due to Q1 along the line joining the charges. So what will be the notation you are going to give to it? F3, 1. Similarly, due to second charge, it will experience a force in this direction. What will be the name you give to this? So F31 is the force between these two charges taken individually. F32 is the force between 3 and 2 taken individually. But what is happening? There is a combined effect. So due to these two charges, what will happen? There will be a resultant force. Right? So what do you call this? So when you need to calculate the resultant force, right? When you have multiple charges in your hand, you use an operation called as principle of superposition. Right? So what is it called as? Principle of superposition. When will you use it? When there is a system with more than 2 charges. If there is a system with only 1 charge, if I ask you what is the force experienced by the charge, will you be able to answer it? 2 charges minimum is needed for applying Coulomb's law. So if it crosses 2, what will you do? You will apply the Coulomb's law between the individual charges and take the resultant. Right? So consolidating all this, if I need to give a statement to this principle of superposition, can you try it out? Can I say something like this? Consolidate everything that I told you. When will you apply principle of superposition? When there are multiple charges. Multiple according to you means more than 2 charges. So when there are more than 2 charges, am I right? When there are more than 2 charges present in the system, what will we do? The force experienced by one of the charges due to whom? Due to the remaining system, right? Due to the remaining system. See, in this example, I took 2 charges, not necessarily always you will have 3, right? So due to the remaining charges is equal to what? Is equal to the vector sum. I need to underline this. Is equal to the vector sum of the individual forces present in the system. Make sense? Right? So how do I write it mathematically? I can write it like this. Resultant force is equal to F31 plus F32. There is a mistake in this corrected. I need to write it in the vector form. So the vector sum is equal to the sum of the individual vector forces. If you write it without the vector symbol, it is wrong. Okay. So make a note of this. We will see an example problem. Suppose I have 3-point charges. I have 3-point charges placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle. Right? So it's going to be A, B, and C. Right? 3 charges are placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle. And there is a fourth charge of magnitude, let's say Q4, which is placed exactly at the centroid of the triangle. What is going to be the force experience? Should be logically, it should be a zero. So how are we going to prove it using the principle of superposition? Okay. So what are we trying to do? We have 3 charges of equal magnitude placed at the vertices of what triangle? Equilateral triangle A, and A. Okay. Now, if I take this to be D, right, then there will be a force experienced by the fourth charge. We assume that to be positive. The force experienced by the fourth charge due to the charge at point A is going to be in which direction? Along the line joining in the downward direction. So what is the notation you are going to give to it? F. So give it in terms of A and D. F D A. Similarly, what about this? F D C. Similarly, what about this? F D B. F B. Now, if I write the expression for F D A, then what is the answer going to be? Can I tell one thing? That since this is going to be the centroid is going to be at equal distance from all the vertices, right? So if I say this distance to be R, for instance, right? So can I write FDA is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into, tell me, Q into Q4 divided by R square. Right. So I wrote only the magnitude part because I already have the diagram in mind. Now, if I write the value for F DC, then what is the answer going to be? It is going to be 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q into Q4 divided by R square. What about F D D? It will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q into Q4 divided by R square. Alright. So if I take the centroid, if I observe the magnitude of all these three, can I say in terms of magnitude they are the same? Right, same expression everywhere. So can I say FDA is equal to FDC is equal to FDB? If I call it as F, for instance, if I call it as F, right? So this force will be here. This force will be here, and this will also be F. Correct? So if I try to resolve them into components, right? So how is it going to be? This angle will be 30 because this whole angle is 120. So out of 120, 90 is gone. It will be 30, and here also it is going to be 30. Am I right? So this F alone, we will try to resolve it into two perpendicular components. So what is the horizontal component? Remember, wherever angle is there you should write it cos. So this will be F cos 30, and upward will be F sin 30. This is divided into two parts. What is this? This one is f cos 30 and upward will be f sin 30. Which forces get cancelled? Cos 30 and f cos 30 get cancelled. Which one get added? Two f sin 30s get added, right? So what is sin 30 value? 1 by 2. So this will be f by 2 plus this will be f by 2. So what is the answer going to be? It will be f. So there will be a force of f acting in the upward direction, and there is a force of f acting in the downward direction also, which also get cancelled. As a result of it, what is going to be the net force experience vector? Are you able to understand? So this is how we can think of principle of superposition, right? See, not every time we apply the parallelogram law vector. Sometimes we go with the resolution. There is another problem where we'll apply parallelogram law that I'll explain in next class, right? Is this point clear? Right, just make a note of it.